Jake from LTT fame left LTT. Let's see why.
On August 6th of last year, after spending nearly 10 years, almost half of my life at Linus Media Group, the company behind channels like Linus Tech Tips, Short Circuit, Tech Quickie, and more, I decided it was time for a change. I packed my—
What, dude, there's so many people who work for like a media creation company like this, and they try to stream or make their own content. They build their skill, right? They build their skill set, they build notoriety and fame, then they leave and they 10x their income. It's crazy. Like Funhouse type go to this. Basically every single YouTube channel crew, like a channel, like, you know, a channel YouTubers, like they make like 1 or 2 videos a week. Every single one of those crews, content houses, they all fell apart because they like started streaming. It was like, oh, why would I go to the office and make videos? I can just stream and make way more money.
My things, said my goodbyes, and left the office and company I poured so much of myself, the entirety of my adult life, and many of my high school years into for the last time. Honestly, I had pretty much settled on not making this video. It's just been kind of a long time since I left, and it's taken me a really long time to—
It's like crazy because he left almost a year ago, but since the way their like content schedule works, no one realized he left until way later, like many months later, because they shoot content so far in the future. So like when he first noticed he left, it was they found it like because his Twitter he removed the working at LTT or whatever. He removed that part, but it wasn't confirmed for like many months. I think
I'm emotionally and mentally prepared to talk about this. And to be frank, I still don't think I 100% am, but as my therapist likes to say, it's important to talk about your feelings. So why don't we do it? Working at LTT was my first real job, one that I literally found on Craigslist and started when I was in high school, which meant taking the bus for nearly 2 hours either way after school or on the weekend. But I didn't care. As a fan of the channel and so many other STEM channels, it was a dream job. And to say that it's been a massive part of my life, one that shaped a not insubstantial part of who I am, would be an understatement. In the early years, it was amazing. Sure, there were challenges, but when every day is a new adventure, it's easy to excuse a bit of hardship given the thrill I got from it. I was originally hired—
Why did he take his glasses off? What the hell?
It's easy to excuse a bit of hardship given the thrill I got from it. I was originally hired as a general laborer, back when the channel had just over 2 million subscribers. Hilariously, it's a job title that didn't get updated on my pay stubs, I think probably for a year.
Whoa, Chrissy's pay here? And see this, what? Wait, I don't know how to read this. 80 hours? Wait, is it late? No, that's tax. We worked 80 hours. Wait, I might forget. I don't know how to read this. I don't pay taxes. I get paid on PayPal. I definitely don't know how to read this. It's 80 hours, $1,030. How much is that per hour? 1,350. And that's before taxes. Bro, what? No wonder he left, bro. What? Dude, no wonder he left. 10 years in seniority, and he's making $17 an hour pre-tax. His net pay was $961 Canadian. 961 divided by 80. $12 an hour, by the way. $12 an hour. 10 years seniority. Dude, I realized, dude, holy fuck. I realized why he didn't blur this. Because that's crazy. Unless this is like his first paycheck. There's no date here. But he did say my title wasn't updated, and then he showed this. So I think this is like the modern one. But that's crazy. $12 an hour after being like a huge on-screen talent and 10 years of seniority. Man, are you sure he didn't 10x his income by leaving? Are you sure he didn't 10x? Wow. When he joined, it had 2.6 million subscribers. When he joined, it had 2.6 million subscribers. It was not a small company. It was definitely not a small channel. They were making a lot of money. But they could do that. It's just that he like never like, maybe he did get some promotions. Maybe he did get some pay increases. But $12 an hour after taxes? $12 an hour?
I think probably for a year after it changed. But it didn't really matter, since while I did—
Oh wait, no. This is his first year. Okay. Never mind. $12 an hour? That was his first year. Okay, I was mistaken. My bad. It didn't change for the first year. It did change afterwards. This is his first year. Okay. That's not too bad then. $12 an hour for the first year as a part-timer? That's pretty good. That's not horrible.
Stubs, I think probably for a year after it changed. But it didn't really matter, since while I did end up working on a bunch of different things,
there's no way.
sort of
There's no
general
way.
kind of guy, almost none of it was what I was actually hired for. You see, Yvonne wanted me to help organize the warehouse, and while I did eventually make it through the giant mail pile, it would grow every day by more than I could usually get through. What I really ended up doing with my 16 or so hours a week was helping Linus with projects, like tearing down the original 7 Gamers 1 CPU build, which I think I did in my first week.
If he didn't want a gig, no, but if that's his first, he joined the company as a part-time employee, making $12 an hour after taxes. It's pretty good. If you're a part-time general laborer, your first year, $12 after taxes, $15 pre-taxes. It's pretty good. I guess it's horrible. That's horrible. That's the beginning. So I hope it must have gone up. He must have had pay raises. There's no way.
Testing water blocks for water cooling through the ages, and even water cooling a PS4. Admittedly, not very well, but it did at least work.
Why is it broken, Karen?
And the curiosity didn't stop there.
Yeah, it's still great, but it's still terrible. It's better than like really bad jobs. And he's working with something he can do and he really likes, really loves. And it's a piece, again, a part-time first job. He was 16, 15 or 16. Like, that's not bad, man.
I'd be lying if I said going down memory lane for this video didn't have me feeling like some kind of way. You just kind of forget about all the cool stuff you've done after you've been at it for so long. There was 16K gaming, 6 editors, 1 CPU, more than 1 crazy desk PC, a whole season of Secret Shopper, and of course, we even had an LTT Minecraft server. Over the years, I wore a lot of hats. So much so that it's what's written on my 5-year service award thing. I was the logistics person before we had a logistics team, handled almost all of the IT infrastructure for the company, from around 20 people to, let's say, 80 or so, by myself for a lot of it. And eventually, a while after Alex, Emily, and James got hired on as the first writers for the channel, I graduated high school.
Oh wow, he was there before. Wait, he was there before those people? Whoa, that's crazy. I didn't realize he was that early. He was there before Jake. No, was that what you guys saying? Before like those like I thought he was like, wow. I guess he just wasn't on camera. He just wasn't an on-camera talent until later, I guess. 'Cause I didn't realize he was there that early.
I'm a full-time writer too.
Maybe I'm just
I neglected to mention and then just started showing up every day. Sorry. After a few years, I also ended up becoming the LTT writing team supervisor, helping the other writers with their projects, approving purchases, doing one-on-ones, running our weekly content meetings, all of that while also trying to make videos. And most of this is years before we even got to renovating Linus's house. It was a lot. And to be honest, there was actually a point a few years ago where I almost quit as well, just purely because of the stress of trying to do both. But I made the decision to try going back to just writing, and I'm really glad I did, because looking back on all those years, I got to play with and learn about tech I never would have otherwise. I got to design and build servers that power more than one creator's YouTube production. I got to set a Guinness World Record with computers. Hell, I even got to put a silly wing on Pluscar alongside folks I've watched for years. And that's just the projects. I also got to meet so many incredible people, both creators and coworkers, many of whom I'm still fortunate to call friends, and some who I even get to work with to this day. But most importantly, I had the opportunity and honor to share the things I learned and experienced with all of you. And hell, I even got to meet some of you at LTX, which was an absolute blast. It's something
I remember, was it last week or 2 weeks ago? LTT made a video after he left, and he went, they had to take the video down or something because he asked him to blur him. So they had to take it down or like private it and then blur him in all the footage and put it back up or something. There's like big drama around it.
I don't take for granted. And at the time, I genuinely feared losing. So for everyone who's watching...
By the way, Simi, what did you do before going full-time? I was a teacher. No, I was a teacher for a year. I wasn't full-time though. I was, it was 60%. So 3 days a week I was teaching at a middle school.
Watching here on my own channel, thank you. To Linus and Yvonne, and I guess Luke, since apparently he's the one that told them they should hire me after I started pointing out like bad design decisions on the case I had to tear down in the technical interview. I wouldn't be where I am today had you not taken a chance on a silly 15-year-old. Thank you. Which is to say, leaving LMG was probably the hardest decision I've ever had to make. I think I said it best in a letter I sent to them a few days after handing in my resignation, which read, in part, sometimes you have to cut off the old... This is giving me chills already. Sometimes you have to cut off the old branches to
Absolute chills. Absolute
make space
chills.
for the new ones to grow. I just genuinely did not foresee the branch I'd be cutting off myself to be Linus Media Group. It's probably the biggest branch on my life tree at this point, and it took a lot of me, probably a larger piece than I'd like to admit, to start hacking away. But at some point, even after things are looking up, you have to start taking care of the rest of yourself and not just the parts you want people to see. When you've been in a job for that long, it's natural for things to change.
That's crazy. Dude, that must be so hard, leaving a job like this after 10 years, your entire adult life and most of your teenage life is working at this company. Leaving it is crazy.
I changed. I mean, I started when I was 15 and ended when I was 25, so that makes sense. The people change. Sometimes people leave. And of course, the company's gonna change, especially as that company grew from around 10 people when I started to over 100 when I left. Back in the day, it felt like we all fought in the trenches together, working as a team to share this thing we all held so dear to our little fragile nerd hearts with the rest of the world, and to inspire others that share that passion and to be proud of it. It was really cool, and it still is really cool. When I started working on videos, I got to have a hand in everything. The idea, conquering any engineering or technical challenges, building the things, testing the things, and ultimately writing, co-hosting, and working with the editors to deliver finished videos that so many of you watched. It's just that over time, it went from that to a constant, what can be delegated to someone else? Which in my case, where the videos I worked on were mostly based on things I wanted to learn about, it was really challenging to do. I didn't necessarily know how it was gonna go. It also meant that as soon as a shoot wrapped, the question turned to, well, who can finish this off? And that led to the projects feeling kind of incomplete, which, given how my ADHD brain works, meant that I got a feeling of maybe relief that something was finally over, instead of a feeling of accomplishment that I had achieved, learned, finished something. It just made it hard to feel proud of the work I was doing, especially since that work was being showed to the public. Combine that with the loss of team members you hope you work with forever, things naturally getting more corporate as headcount increased, going through major controversies more than once, resulting in processes and policies created in the span of a week that no one spent the time to ask if actually made sense later on. And slowly, the thing you signed up for changes into something completely different. And in my case, it started to turn this thing I loved.
Mason, we need more cars like that then. We need more funky cars like this then. Silver and black cars are so boring.
Into something I kind of despised. And I wasn't the only team member who
Silver,
felt
black,
like
white
this,
cars, I sleep.
I hated. And I also kind of hated that I hated that. I don't know. It's really hard to see something that you put so much into become something you don't really want to be a part of. So in the weeks and months before what ended up being my departure, I gave a specific list of ultimatums, things I needed changed for this to.
Also, he told them 5 different things that he needed changed, if you would say. And 3 of them was get up-to-date pay reference data, a couple days off around Christmas. Wait, they didn't have off on Christmas? What? Fix the personal content policy. As far as I know, the personal content policy is like super strict. If you work at LTT, it's like super strict what you can stream and what videos you can make. Like super, super strict.
Still work for me, and things I knew that resonated with the rest of the team, so that if ultimately I didn't stick around, it would still benefit them. And while I don't know exactly for sure what ended up changed, I do know that at least some of what I asked for was listened to. And to be clear, I'm not the only person who pushed for change, so this is by no means me taking credit. I just hope that for the current and next generation of LMG staff, that things continue to look upwards. And to Linus and Yvonne, guys, everyone knows you made sacrifices to get where you are. And to be able to support a team of this size, and there's a lot of things you guys did right. Just don't forget that many of those same people made massive sacrifices and braved many storms on your behalf as well. Ultimately, it came to a head around feeling valued, and I'm far from the only person who felt that way. After 3+ years of my total comp remaining effectively the same, while
Yeah, I knew it, man. 3 years, no pay raise. It's getting more and more responsibility.
affordability was getting worse and worse, especially in Vancouver, one of the least affordable areas to live in the world. You kind of start thinking while you're working on your boss's 3rd house, if you're ever gonna.
Yeah, dude, we're all Linus turning down the mid 9-figure offers wasn't 100 million plus, 830,000. While he's like, oh my god, dude. Hey, I've kind of noticed this though. I've kind of noticed this with Linus and Luke, is they're getting more and more out of touch, right? It's like he said now, right? Like, yeah, we are renovating my boss's third house while I'm here like struggling in my small shitty apartment. No, he's giving some, of course. But as he said, 3 years with no pay increase, even though he's like one of the he for sure by far was one of the most valuable employees at LTT. Like by far, he was amazing on-screen talent, amazing chemistry, is amazingly talented. I think, as he said, he just didn't feel valued, so he just had to leave. I'm worth more than what you're paying me. Typical company bullshit. I've always thought it was overreach when companies will just sign those contracts and say, yeah, DC company belongs to them. Yeah, this was even crazier though. As far as I can tell, you can make content, but nothing that has anything to do with tech or LTT or anything like that.
Be able to buy a house. And for the record, I don't own this one, I'm just renting. So I started to take an earnest look at my worth, something I procrastinated for years and ignored, really. I explored the revenue that the videos I produced generated. I applied for and fielded a few job offers.
Dude, it's so much money, man.
Infrastructure, IT kind of work. It would have been pretty different than making YouTube videos, but it would have been something new. And ultimately, LMG made the choice to not accept nor counter the amount I asked for, which it's perfectly within the right to do. The job market is one that's cutthroat by its very nature. And
that's
so,
crazy.
With the knowledge and skills I'd learned along the way, the support of my recently fired friends and my partner...
Turns out looked at a house for it, yeah. The main problem is Vancouver is giga expensive rent. Vancouver is mega expensive. But as he said, like every video he's making is generating 30 times more revenue than he's getting paid, right? Exactly, like he could stop, leave, do freelance work and make content and literally probably make 10 times more money. Build his own company, you know?
And after just about giving my parents a heart attack in search of something better for my family, I quit. Throughout the many late night chats it took me to come to terms with the idea of leaving this thing, it was really all I knew, I was reminded of the term LMG lifer. It's what we used to call the OG team members. Back then, I thought it was pretty cool to work at a place where so many of the people thought they'd hang around forever, or even just for longer than they cared to plan for. It's something that, as silly as it seems now in retrospect, knowing how much people's lives change and having the perspective of an adult instead of a child, it was something that became part of my identity. But now that I'd walked away from the only job I've ever really known, where the majority of my friends work, a place I'd like to think I had a pretty decently sized part in building, I was no longer a lifer. And that was
he's underplaying himself so hard here. He was a core member for 10 years, growing a company from worth a couple $1 million maximum to over $100 million. Like in any other company, like if you imagine like any other company where if this person would like have, he would be like set for life probably, right? It's like one of the pretty much founding members, very early. I think so, at least, surely. Growing a company from being worth a couple of million to being worth hundreds of millions.
Kind of hard to come to terms with, at least that day. Fortunately, I had something to look forward to.
We're gonna blow Luke's back out right now. Shoulder!
Because that same night, I flew to Las Vegas, not to a new job, but to my very first DEF CON, the world's biggest hacking convention. It was genuinely one of the coolest things I've ever been to, and not at all scary like everyone makes it out to be. I even talked them into showing me how they run the network out of this tiny little room with almost all donated or...
Architecture year and had coverage over 60 years? Yeah, bro. I mean, like, dude, I guess it's nice to just go to a place and, you know, clock in and clock out. But, like, this guy was, like, super core and so, as he said, he was so valuable for LMG, but he wasn't appreciated, right? No pay raises, and no, his requests weren't met. Like, he was just time to leave, man. LMG has gotten more and more corpo though. Yeah, I mean, yeah. But he didn't just leave. He tried to get changes. He was like, hey, here's some changes I would like to see happen. Nope, didn't happen. Can I get like a pay increase to be like competitive or nope, what happened? No one's irreplaceable? No, for sure. For sure, no one's irreplaceable. But I think LMG didn't think he would leave. Like, we can keep, you know, we can keep not paying him what he's worth because he won't leave. He's worked there for 10 years. This is the only job he's ever had. It's an amazing job. And he was like, nah, I'm gonna leave then. I'm out. I think that's good for him. He realized his own value. Realized his own value and left. 3 years, no rise, which is, it's not even 3 years, no raise. It's 3 years as like a high level employee, a manager, supervisor, you know? But this happens a lot in companies like this. Like, for example, Blizzard or Riot or these companies where it's like, it's a privilege, quote unquote, to work at the company. So people take a pay cut to work at the company just because they really want to work in that specific company. But at some point, even then, it's like, no. Because like, I bet it's a ton more fun to work at LMG than to do, you know, like a McDonald's or something.
Facility equipment. It was super cool and great for taking your mind off of reality for a little bit.
My wrists are like dying.
Oh, you did it! You did it!
And also, I am sorry I didn't actually end up making a video with the footage I took. I just really didn't know what my plans actually were.
You figured it out without figuring it out.
Yeah.
Since I quit, I didn't have severance to fall on. I had to do something else to support myself and the family. Fortunately, as some of you probably know, I'm kinda into finely depreciated European cars. Ones that are unfortunately expensive to fix and sometimes prone to breaking. Like this sick V10 M5 wagon that a customer of mine imported from Japan. Working on cars like that has always been more of a hobby for me and less of a job. But despite saying that, for many years I hustled my ass in and out of the shop on evenings and weekends to support that hobby and save a bit of money for the rainy day like quitting your job, and of course, to feed my desire for knowledge. It's just that it wasn't really as fun for me to learn about new stuff like that without getting to share it with somebody. That, above all else, is what I really loved about my time at LMG. I got to share anything I learned with all of you. So even during my final 2 weeks, I was already spending what little safety net I had required on lights, a microphone, a tripod, and a bunch of iPhones I really couldn't afford, with the hope that I could again share my passion for tech with all of you. And since people are gonna ask, yeah, all of this is a big part of why I had such an emotional reaction to clips from my channel being used in the How LMG Spends Money video.
Yeah, that's what I talked about earlier. They freaking used clips from his channel in one of their videos after he left. That's wild, bro. That's crazy. That's crazy,
that LTT
actually.
Released recently. I'll link to it in the description if you're interested, but it basically details the average comp across the entire team, talks about how they spend the revenue the company generates, shares some insight into Linus and Yvonne's take-home as the sole shareholders of the company, and included a short segment at the end talking about past staff members' new ventures, and also included some footage of current staff members too. At the time, seeing myself and some of my friends talked about in a section about how proud they were of ex-LMGers, right after what felt like Linus justifying the issues so many of them and myself had been raising for years with, 'cause capitalism? It just felt kind of backhanded, and it did make me really upset. Add in that people were misinterpreting it, and the fact that no one asked me for permission to use the clips, or if I even wanted to be included in the first place, or even linking to the channel or anyone else's channels until I brought it up, it just...
Bro, what? That's actually crazy. Wait, what? Bro, that's crazy. They didn't even link to it? Bro, I've heard, did. What? They took content? Wow, bro. It's not new tech, it's not new life sector drama. It's Jake explaining this guy. It's Jake explaining why he left. That's it.
Maybe that's not how it was intended, and I'm sorry if it wasn't. But when you're directly on the other side of something like this, it's real stuff. This affects your life and your friends who have already been through so much already. So, yeah, I got emotional. I'm still emotional, and I'm not gonna apologize for that. What I will apologize for is that I didn't need to bring all of you into it.
I mean, I don't think it's shady. I think he's just lost touch. He's just lost touch. He's mega wealthy. He's beyond wealthy. Like, he is, yeah, monstrously wealthy. He operates a huge company, and I think he just got more and more out of touch with the average person. Yeah, I think he just get out of touch. Linus, I think he works on videos, but I still think Linus really burns for it. Because if you watch someone like the behind the scenes ones, like, he's super involved. He's always on camera. He has final say and everything. But I think he just lost touch. touch, yeah. I don't think he's a bad guy, though. I don't think he's a bad guy. I don't think it's... I just think when you're so hyper successful, it's hard to keep your feet on the ground. No, he made a video, Selsko, if I'm not completely incorrect. He made a video about why he's getting a CEO. Because he didn't want to do the top level stuff. He wanted to be on screen. He's always still on screen for almost all his videos. And he has the final say on the scripts and stuff. But yeah, I think that's what you mean.
In retrospect, none of it makes any sense without context anyways, and more importantly, it's just not your business. You guys saw it as a nice gesture, but to me, it hurt. And ultimately, that's my problem. So for that, I am sorry. That's not what you're here for, and I should have taken a moment to pause and let myself breathe before acting emotionally, because honestly, it's time to move on. I should have made this video a long time ago so that this hasn't been looming over my head, and for a while there I thought I'd be able to move on without it, but clearly that's not the case. Despite all of that, I hope that they're able to fill the shoes I left empty in a way that makes sense for them, and I look forward to hopefully seeing some content about my babies. Wannick 4, the Mother Vault? I honestly don't even remember if it's Wannick 4. I think that's right. And look, at some point, maybe I'll collaborate with LTT again. It's not like we don't share common interests or potentially have ways to help each other, and I'm grateful for everything they did for me, and I'm hopeful for the future for everyone there. But now that I've got this off my chest, I am closing this LMG chapter of my life and turning the page back to what's coming next. Because in retrospect, leaving was the best decision I have ever made. I now get to work on whatever interests me most. Still work with some of the friends I made along the way, and you'll probably see some more collabs there. And I get to share it with all of you. And
he's building his own thing, and I promise he's already making a lot more money than he was working for LMG. I promise.
Incredibly fortunate to be able to do so, and it's because all of you, and of course, because of my time at LMG. So thank you. Seriously, from the bottom of my heart, thank you.
Let's see what his videos look like. Like this is money right there. Like he's making money. Like he's making money. Up to 12K a month, and that's before ad reads. Like he probably went from making around 100K. If I was to guess, he was making 100K a year at Linus, around 100K, and I'm guessing he's making maybe 300K now. 1K, but from what I saw when I actually cared back years ago, he kind of did the usual. Oh no, it's not these obvious problems causing X to happen. I swear, it glazed over people and actual grunts by the problems. Yeah, I mean. Again, auto touch. And there's been many dramas. People are leaving. Yeah, I think he's chilling now, though. I think he's on 400K subs and consistently dropping bangers. 500K, 250K, 100K, 200K, 800K, 100K, 900K. All these within 1 month. Like, he's making really good money. Yes, he's only had one video below 100K. It was his chair. And this is what gets sponsored video. He has Patreon, too. 2,000 members. He's not showing how many paid members, though. Oh, I wish he showed how many paid members. 2,000 members on Patreon. They can decide to show paid members or not. Yeah, but he's making money right now. And I think that's why he also said at the end of his video that quitting was his best thing ever. Because, yeah, that MF is printing money now. He's printing money, and he's only been working for, what, 5 months by himself? Yeah, exactly. This is the thing. Let me read this for you. At 9 minutes and 36 seconds, if your boss is buying a third house, Linus bought a third house last year, but everyone else's salaries get worse, that's not a good boss.
Working on your boss's third house, if you're...
I told him the house. Linus's latest house is like a mansion. It's gigantic. It has a pool. It has a built-in cinema. It's gigantic. Like it's a massive house. Oh, let's not forget. I don't know if he has pick this up. They bought a goddamn plane like a month ago. LMG bought a jet plane for like $75 million or something. Are you serious? Like your core long-term employees can't afford to buy a house after working for you for 10 years. You're buying your third mansion and a private jet. Like, are you serious? Where's your priorities, Cub? That's what I'm saying. Like, the feet are off the ground. The feet are off the ground. He's not grounded anymore, man. Not grounded anymore, man. Can't wait for the LTT Reddit to have a completely normal reaction to this video. We gotta go look. Uh-oh. Here we go. Uh-oh. There we go. Whoa. 800 comments. Uh-oh. I'd be pretty mad too if the company I worked for wouldn't give me a raise, but also bought a private jet. It bought a private jet and a new mansion. Especially for one of the top hosts. Exactly. Like, it was such a big mistake. Dude, I promise you, Linus, their new CEO, anyone, are kicking themselves. They are so, I promise, they are kicking themselves for letting this guy go. That's a huge loss. Huge loss. And Alex too, the zip tie tuning guy, him leaving too. He probably left for exact same reasons. Exact same reasons, most likely. Yeah, just watched it. Pretty much what I expected, to be honest. A lot of story and familiar Germany, starting out doing a bit of everything, growing into roles that are necessary, then Fanora. Can't really comment on the money aspect since he didn't share actual numbers, but it always sucks when you feel undervalued. It's one of the primary reasons I left a very similar job I love doing. I mean, we know he wasn't being paid enough because he couldn't actually like buy a house and stuff, you know. Everything aside, 3 years of no 3 years of no raise and refusing to even counter offer. Like they didn't even, like, when he was like, hey, if I'm gonna stay, I need a raise, and they're not even interested to coming to the table. They won't even entertain the conversation. Like, that's crazy, right? Won't even entertain the conversation. Yeah, boss buying their third house. Well, you can't even afford your first, especially off the back of what you built, then refuse to even negotiate. I cannot imagine. Yeah, this is like the age-old tale of the bosses, like, just losing touch with what made them, man. It's a problem with a family company. If you're not family, you'll only be able to grow so far. Yeah. In any, like, if it wasn't a family-owned company, they'd probably have been given stock options. Like if Jake had stocks, right, and he made the company 500 times bigger, he worked in his company, he turned it from $1 million company into a $500 million company. If he had some shares in that company, it would be fine, right? But it doesn't. So all that work, no reward, pretty much. I worked for 2 family companies in the past. In both cases, the owners couldn't understand why staff didn't go and above and beyond like the owner and the family did, completely ignoring the fact they were sharing the dividends and we were just earning relatively poor salary. Yeah, really well-written video. I explain a lot of direction after leaving. Yep, I don't get the same feeling I got when I watched Alex and Andy's video about leaving LTT. There's something missing from this. I can't point out what it is. I don't think it's super deep. Jake probably just follows some issue. Like, thought of the issue a little bit more deeply. I think working there since he was 15 probably plays a part. Yeah. Well, it's Mr. Linus Tech himself. Mr. Linus Tech himself. As I said publicly, and to Jake himself, I wish him nothing but success in his independent endeavors. With that in mind, though, I've got a couple of quick reminders. Mungo! There are 3 sides to every story. One side, the other wife, and in between. What? What? There's 3 sides to every story. One side, the other wife, and in between. Number 2, LMG's general policy is not to comment on HR-related matters, so unfortunately, you will never hear our side. Is Linus cheating on Yvonne? Oh my god, I'm joking. Fill in the blanks in your head can with caution. It's unavoidable, but still pretty frustrating when people make assumptions without all the facts. So it's so cringe. I hate this. I hate this move. Like, he's wrong, but it's our policy not to explain why. Just remember, guys, he might be wrong, okay? Let's keep focused on what's important. Come on, man. Let's keep focused on the most important thing. There will be lots of content for y'all to enjoy as the LTT cinematic universe grows. What are you saying? Oh, that, thank God. Dude, I'm cringing right now so hard. Thank God. Guitar Game Wall. Linus, I hope you're not reading all the speculation on the thread either for your own mental health. Like, just shut the up. Shut the up. Guys, why won't you think of the millionaires? Be careful. Don't hurt the millionaires' feeling, guys. Don't hurt the owner's feelings, guys. Shut up, bro. Go away. Go away, dude. Parasocial freak. I'm like, what? Dude. Yeah, here we go. Here's the shit it is. Like, why say this? To be honest, I was the least bothered about Jake leaving. I was never really interested in server-rated content. Generally, he hosted. Like, why even say this? Like, I don't care if he left. Like, why? That's just a negative thing to say. Like, what the? Come on, man. Like, why? Like, why do you people say this? And likes, yeah. I mean, this is like the fan ways. People like to predict. That's true. I might be misremembering this, but I'm pretty sure Linus said at one point in all the video that all staff members in a given department are paid tax. Oh no! Is he doing this? I might be misremembering this, but I'm pretty sure Linus said at one point in some older video that all staff members are paid the exact same. This is literally just an excuse to keep people's salaries low. Like, oh, we can't increase your salary because then we have to increase everyone's salary, and you know we can't afford that. Like, come on, man. If this is true, this might not be true. This might not be true. It's literally like a bad way to be like, no, we can't increase the salary. Like, Jake, we're sorry, man. You're like a core part of the company. You're very highly sought after and liked on-screen talent. But since we have this policy, we have to pay you as much as the new guy we hired 2 months ago. You know, unlucky. Like, are we serious? Like, come on. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Well, like, that's what I'm saying. Because that's like, of course, you can't pay the new guy that just joined $120,000 a year. But that 10-year veteran that's managing the whole fucking writer's room, he should probably make $150,000 a year. I think it was good for him to leave. I think it was time to leave. Boys, this is probably my video. Okay, guys, thank you for watching the video. If you liked it, thumbs up. If you disliked it, thumbs down. What do you think about Jake leaving?